In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to combine two objects in Blender, so that way you can get the most customization possible out of your STLs. This tutorial is specifically for the Alternative Miniature Head Kickstarter, but it's applicable to pretty much any STL out there, and it's going to be a great asset to add to your 3D printing hobby. So first off, we want to import our STLs, so go over to File, Import, STL, and select your STLs. Okay, now that we have our STLs imported, you want to shift click and drag to select all the models. Right click, set origin to geometry, and this just centers the origin of the object around the object's mass. Press G to move the head or whatever object that you're going to be moving into position, and you want to navigate and try to get it really lined up. Do a 360, do a couple 360s. R to rotate, and if you hold the middle mouse button, it'll rotate on an axis. And once we have it in a pretty good position there, you'll want to shift right click on the object, go to Add, Mesh, UV Sphere. In the bottom left of the Add UV Sphere, click on this tab, increase the segments to 64 and the rings to 64, and this just gives you a higher poly sphere just in case any part of it sticks out. Then S to scale and G to move it into place. You'll just want to put this in the cavity between the neck and the torso. You'll want it just about the right size to where it doesn't poke out but is making good contact. Now we can confirm that this is making good contact by rotating the camera so that it clips into the body, and you can see the sphere has made it well into the body. And that's same for the head, and you can see the sphere has clipped through the neck pretty sufficiently. So there's not going to be any voids or gaps that are going to cause this print to fail. And you can see here just why this skill is really useful. This hair is so long around this neck, and this neck cavity is so deep that there's pretty much no way you could have printed these two objects separate and then glued them together. You essentially have to digitally kit bash them if you want to get this head on this body. And it's a big issue with using STLs from different creators or different brands, or even using 3D printed parts with plastic models. And this is a great way to circumnavigate that issue for like 90% of the STLs that you might buy. Now shift click and drag or press A to select all the objects in the scene, File, Export as STL, and then you probably want to hit selection only, export the STL. Now there is one final step to this. You'll want to open your model in Windows 3D Builder, import it in the correct scale, and this will check to see if there's any holes that are going to cause issues when printing. You can see here there's no red pop-up window. If you did have an issue, it would be down here in the bottom right, and it's alright if you have an issue. You can just click on it and Windows 3D Builder will help resolve it, and 99% of the time it can fix all the holes that you could ever imagine. It might take up to 5 minutes depending on how complicated your model is, and after that, file, save, and your model is ready to be imported into your slicer, supported, and printed. That's pretty much all there is to it. It's a super simple process. By having this skill, it'll unlock a whole new level of customization for your 3D printing. If you have any questions or need help with anything 3D printing or Blender related, leave that in the comments down below. If you like these models, you can purchase them on our website, Frontier Games. The link is in the description. And check out our first ever board game, Without Our King. Thanks, everyone.